some of you might have heard me say this before. Debt is a dishonest practice. Okay, so if you come to me and say, please borrow me 1,000 rand, I'll pay you on Monday. Monday is the 31st. I'll pay you on Monday the 31st when I get paid. Okay. Now, if I give you 1,000 rand on the basis of what you told me, you are being dishonest to me because you don't know whether you'll be alive on Monday to pay me 1,000 rand back. You don't know that. Okay. So if I agree to give you that money on the basis of your word, you have lied to me because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you can't make a promise like that. Now the banks, they know that you can't guarantee tomorrow. So every time you take a loan from a bank, the bank normally has security. They say, for us to be able to get our money back, we want this security. Because they know that you can't guarantee that you'll pay tomorrow. You can't guarantee that you'll have a job next month. So they even want you to take insurance that is for unemployment, that if you lose your job, then the insurance will pay up what you still owe. Because you can't guarantee what happens tomorrow, and therefore to borrow as if you know what's going to happen tomorrow is deceitful. Okay? The book of James, chapter 4, verse 13 and 16 says, those of you who say today or tomorrow, we're going to do it to a certain town, we will stay there for a year, we'll do business, we'll make profit. It's like you say, I have a job, I'm going to get a salary at the end of the month, and so on. He says, how do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? You don't know. Your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while and then it's gone. What you ought to be saying when you borrow money from people, you should be saying, if the Lord is willing, I will live and do this or that. Okay. Now, you know, if you were to come to me and say, the Lord willing, I'll pay you back your 1,000 rand on Monday, chances are I won't borrow you money. Okay. Because I know you are telling me up front that it is not in your hands for you to be able to pay me back. You are saying, if the Lord is willing, it is in the God's hands whether you will be available on Monday to pay me back, whether you'll still have a job to pay me back. And it is only if I'm willing to take that risk that I'll borrow you, that I'm willing to write it off. Okay. So he says in verse 16 of James 4, otherwise you are boasting about your own pretentious plans. And he says, all such boasting is evil. He says, when you make plans that next week I'm going to get my salary and I'll pay you. Next week I'm going to do business and I'm going to make a profit and I'll pay you. He says you are making pretentious plans and all such plans are evil. So we shouldn't be making plans like that, because going into debt is to make a plan like that. When you go into debt and say, I'll pay it over the next 5 years, you're assuming you'll be around over the next 5 years to pay it up. And you may not be around to pay it up. And therefore you have cheated people of their wealth if you do that. Okay, so going into debt is a pretentious activity, and we should not be doing it. Okay.